I caught my dad with my aunt, and my mom knew. But that's not even the craziest part. So this happened during Thanksgiving last year, and I've been dying to get it off my chest. I, 26F, was visiting home for the first time in a while. I'd moved out of state 2 years prior, and between grad school and life chaos, I hadn't seen my family in person since before COVID. My family's always been a little tense, but functional. You know that kind of passive-aggressive Midwest dynamic where everything looks fine on the surface but nobody ever actually talks about anything real? That's us. My parents have been married over 30 years, high school sweethearts, the whole deal. My mom is kind but emotionally distant. My dad's one of those stoic, keep-it-all-inside types who thinks doing the dishes once a week qualifies as helping. Then there's my aunt, my mom's sister. Technically, she's my dad's sister-in-law. She's in her early 40s, never married, no kids, a little wild. She's the cool aunt, always traveling, always with a new story about a guy she met in Portugal or a wine tasting in Napa. She lives a few towns over and always comes for holidays. Everyone loves her. Including me, or, well, I did. Thanksgiving itself was the usual chaos, turkey drying out, my dad arguing with Alexa, my cousin arriving late with a new boyfriend no one liked. At dinner, the wine flowed way too freely. My mom had a few glasses, which for her is rare, and was giggling about something my cousin said. My dad got that flushed, red-nosed look he always gets when he's tipsy, and my aunt? She was holding court like always, making everyone laugh, tossing back Pinot like it was water. Anyway, dinner was over. The leftovers were being half-heartedly packed away, people were scattered around the house in that post-meal food coma haze. I remembered my phone was dying and went upstairs to grab a charger from the guest room, the one with the squeaky bed frame and old floral quilt. That room is always empty. Except it wasn't. I opened the door without thinking. And I swear to God, I wish I could unsee what I saw. My dad was in there. Shirt off. Belt undone. His back was to me, but I could see his hands on my aunt's waist. And she was leaning into him, kissing him. Not like a drunken mistake peck. I mean really kissing. Deep. Familiar. Her hand was down his pants. I froze. I don't know how long I stood there, but it couldn't have been more than 2 seconds. It felt like time cracked open. I didn't make a sound, I just closed the door slowly, carefully. Didn't slam it. Didn't even breathe. I walked down the hall like I was in a dream and straight outside onto the porch. It was freezing, but I didn't care. I leaned over the railing and dry heaved. I couldn't even process what I'd seen. My brain was scrambling for other explanations. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe they were. Nope. No way to rationalize it. I kept replaying it over and over in my head. The way her hand moved. His face. The shirt tossed on the bed. It was real. It was happening. I stayed outside for a long time. I don't even know how long. Just standing there in the cold, heart pounding, feeling like the floor had dropped out from under my entire childhood. Eventually, my cousin came out to smoke, and I pretended I was just on the phone. I couldn't tell her. I couldn't tell anyone. What was I supposed to do? Drop a bomb like that and ruin Thanksgiving? Shatter my mom's world? Break up a 30-year marriage? The rest of the night was a blur. I stayed downstairs, avoided eye contact with both of them. My dad came down looking totally normal. Shirt back on. Laughing at something on the TV. My aunt came down 10 minutes later, lipstick redone. No one else suspected a thing. I flew back home 2 days later and haven't been back since. I haven't told my mom. I haven't told anyone. I don't even know if I want to. I keep debating whether I'm morally obligated to say something, but the truth is, I'm scared. Scared of what it would do to her. Scared of what it would do to me. What if she already knows? What if this has been going on for years? I don't even know who I'm more disgusted with, him or her. Or maybe myself, for not doing anything. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a second. I just laid there in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying it over and over. My brain kept trying to glitch itself into a better version, like maybe it was some weird, drunk miscommunication. Maybe I was overtired, wine-buzzed, hallucinating? But no. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't hallucinating. I saw what I saw. I know I did. The next morning, I woke up early. If you can even call it waking up. I was already up, just lying there, breathing like someone in a war zone. I could hear the sounds of breakfast, my mom humming in the kitchen, the eggs sizzling, the coffee machine sputtering like nothing had happened. Like she wasn't married to the man I just saw cheating on her with her own sister. I waited until she was alone in the kitchen and pulled her aside. I wasn't even sure what I was going to say. I just blurted out, "Can I talk to you about something weird I saw last night?" That was all it took. Her whole face changed. Like, immediately. It was like I'd flipped a switch. The humming stopped. She set the spatula down. She didn't ask what I meant. She didn't look confused. She just said, "You didn't see anything. And if you care about this family, you'll keep it that way." I didn't even know what to say. My mouth just opened and closed like I was buffering. She knew. Not even in a vague, "Oh, that's suspicious," kind of way. She knew exactly what I was talking about. And she didn't look shocked. She didn't cry. She didn't even get mad. She looked tired. Practiced. Like she'd had this speech rehearsed for years and was just waiting for someone to give her the cue. I was like, "Wait. What? You know?" She gave this small, brittle smile and said, "Your father has needs. Marriages evolve." I swear to God, I thought I was being pranked. Like Ashton Kutcher was gonna jump out from behind the fridge. I said, "You're okay with your husband screwing your own sister?" She just sipped her coffee, cool as anything, and said, "You'd be surprised what women tolerate when they want to keep a roof over their heads." That line has been bouncing around my skull ever since. It felt like someone cracked a window into a part of my mom I'd never seen before. Not the nice, smiling, casserole-making mom. But someone quietly surviving a marriage she gave up on decades ago. I didn't even know how to respond. I just stood there, stunned. My mom went back to cooking like it was any other Thursday. Like she hadn't just admitted to sharing a man with her sister. I left later that day. Made up an excuse about needing to beat traffic, even though I had a return flight for 2 days later. I booked a new one on my phone in the bathroom and Ubered straight to the airport with my heart in my throat. It's been almost a year, and I still haven't been back. My mom texts me sometimes, normal stuff. Recipes. Thinking of you. I don't answer much. I don't even know how to talk to her now. I haven't spoken to my aunt. I haven't spoken to my dad. The whole thing feels radioactive. Part of me wants to scream at them all. Part of me wants to dig a hole and bury this entire memory in it. I don't even know what I'm grieving. My parents' marriage? My childhood? My belief that we were normal? I haven't told anyone in my real life. Not a single friend. Not even my therapist. I know I should, but saying it out loud makes it too real. Anyway. That's the update. I don't even know how to end this. I feel like I walked in on a family secret I was never supposed to see, and now I'm stuck holding it like a ticking bomb. After that conversation with my mom, I tried to let it go. I really did. But something in me snapped. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Her calmness. The way she just sipped her coffee like nothing mattered. I stayed a few extra days, told work I had food poisoning and couldn't fly. Meanwhile, I was playing detective in my own childhood home, pretending everything was fine while feeling like I was living in an alternate reality. And once I started looking, I started noticing. Little things that felt off, but now carried weight. Like how my mom had a drawer in her office that was always locked. I remembered it from years ago, but never thought much of it. Suddenly, it was all I could think about. Or how my dad's phone had a second texting app I'd never seen before. I caught a glimpse over his shoulder one night, some shady blue icon he swiped away the second he noticed me watching. And my aunt? She left at 3 a.m. one night. No explanation. No shoes. Just slipped out the back door like she'd done it 100 times. It all felt too coordinated. Too practiced. Like this wasn't an affair. It was an operation. So one afternoon, while everyone went out to the outlet mall for Black Friday shopping, I stayed behind. Claimed I had a headache. And yeah, before you judge me, I picked the lock on that drawer. Side note, shout out to my high school boyfriend who was into lockpicking for fun. Turns out trauma makes you resourceful. Inside, I found a stack of manila folders. My hands were shaking as I flipped through them. Printouts. Dozens. Hundreds. Emails. Screenshots. Flight confirmations. Hotel receipts. Photos from a hotel security cam showing my dad and my aunt checking in, together. Multiple times. In different cities. But that wasn't even the worst of it. There were bank statements, my aunt's, with regular deposits from an account under my dad's name. Thousands of dollars. Every month. Like clockwork. He was paying her rent. And my mom had all of it. Neatly labeled, highlighted, documented. This wasn't some blindsided housewife trying to catch a cheating husband. This was a woman building a case. So then I'm sitting there, on the carpet of her home office, surrounded by folders like a true crime podcast come to life, asking myself the one question I couldn't shake. If she knows all this, why isn't she doing anything? The answer was in the last folder. A thick one. Tucked away in the back like she didn't want to look at it often. It was about my grandma. She passed away 2 months ago. Sweetest woman alive. The kind who sent handwritten cards for every holiday and never missed a Sunday call. In the folder were copies of her will. Letters from her attorney. Notes from my mom. Turns out everything, literally everything, goes to my dad. The house, the land, the investment accounts, even the summer cabin. But there's a clause. A very specific clause. The inheritance only transfers if he remains legally married at the time of her death. If they divorced before that? It all went to charity. Some church fund in my grandma's hometown. I sat there for what felt like hours, just reeling. My mom wasn't fine. She wasn't accepting. She was waiting. She had known about the affair for years. She'd been collecting proof, quietly, methodically, waiting for my grandma to die. Now, with the inheritance secured, I don't know what she's planning. But she didn't stay because she loved him. She stayed because she was playing the long game. And honestly, that scares me even more. I used to think my mom was passive. Mild, just a woman who blended into the wallpaper. But now? I see her differently. Like someone who's been surviving a war no one knew was happening. Keeping the peace on the outside while setting everything up behind the scenes. And suddenly, everyone in this family looks different. I haven't confronted anyone. Not yet. I'm not sure what good it would do. But I know one thing now. This wasn't just a dysfunctional marriage. It was a deal. A game. A long con that no one was supposed to see, except I opened the wrong drawer. 2 months later, my grandma passed. It was peaceful. Quiet. The way she wanted. She was the last real matriarch in the family, and her death brought everyone back together again, whether they liked it or not. The vibe at the house was weird. Awkward. Stiff smiles and polite nods. People whispered instead of talked. Even the food was too quiet, if that makes sense. No one was arguing about politics or overcooking the green beans. It was like everyone could feel something brewing. My mom didn't shed a tear. Not once. My dad, on the other hand, stood up during dinner and gave some long-winded, Hallmark-esque speech about legacy and the strength of family unity. I actually had to look down at my plate to keep from laughing. This man had balls, I'll give him that. Anyway, after dinner, we did this informal memorial thing in the living room. People were sharing stories about Grandma. It was all very soft and somber, until my mom stood up. She smoothed her blouse, set her wine glass down, and said, "Since we're honoring honesty today, I have a few truths to share." The room fell dead silent. I remember hearing a fork clink onto someone's plate. Then, and I swear to God I am not making this up, she pulled out a projector. An actual projector. From a tote bag. She plugged it into the wall like she'd rehearsed this. The screen came up on the wall, and the title slide read, "The Man I Married vs. The Man Who Paid My Sister to Sleep with Him." I just about choked on my drink. Then she clicked to the next slide, and it began. Emails. Screenshots. Bank transfers. Photos from hotel cams. A voice memo of my aunt bragging to a friend about how easy it was to seduce my dad. I recognized the voice immediately. It was her. Laughing about how he always pays extra if she wears red. My uncle, my aunt's ex, was right there. He stood up halfway through the presentation and stormed out. No one stopped him. Everyone else just sat there, stunned into silence, watching my mom roast her husband of 30-plus years like it was a TED Talk on betrayal. People were crying. Someone in the corner was praying. My dad looked like he'd seen the devil crawl out of the floorboards. He tried to interrupt, once, stood up and said, "This isn't the time or place." And my mom? She held up a hand like she was calling order in court and said, "You had 30 years to speak. Sit down." Then she finished the presentation with a final slide that simply said, "I'll be filing for divorce tomorrow. Per the prenup, I now own half the house and 60% of his company stock. Have a nice evening." Turns out, she had a lawyer on standby the second the inheritance hit. Grandma's estate cleared. Everything was in motion. My mom had been waiting. Setting the table. Laying the trap. And in that moment, she flipped the switch. Afterward, she thanked everyone for coming, shut off the projector, and went into the kitchen to slice pie like nothing happened. The fallout since has been nuclear. My dad moved out that night. My aunt vanished, no one's heard from her in weeks. My uncle filed a motion to reopen their divorce. And my mom? She's thriving. Got herself a new haircut, a better wardrobe, and, get this, is dating a retired judge. She's calmer than I've ever seen her. Like a woman who's been holding her breath for decades and finally exhaled. I don't know what I expected when I walked in on my dad and aunt that night. But I sure as hell didn't expect this. Moral of the story? Never underestimate a quiet woman with a printer, a locked drawer, and a 60-slide PowerPoint. She didn't just survive. She won. After the dust settled, my dad moved into a one-bedroom apartment above a dry cleaner. No yard, no garage, no driveway to obsess over. Just a sad recliner, a Keurig, and what I swear is the same old TV he bought in 2008. My mom got the house, the car, the furniture, the joint vacation fund, which she promptly renamed Sapphik Escape Savings, and, get this, even the family dog, who apparently never liked her father anyway. My aunt? Evicted. Turns out, when you let your married sugar daddy pay your rent but he's not on the lease, and then someone, "Hi, Mom," politely tips off the landlord, oops. Bye-bye sugar arrangement, bye-bye two-bedroom condo with a wine fridge. The last time I saw my aunt was at the bank, of all places. She was trying to close out a joint account with my dad and got locked out of it mid-meeting. He had removed her access an hour before. She screamed at the poor teller. I just slowly backed out of line like I was watching a zoo animal realize the glass wasn't bulletproof. But here's the twist. My mom? Dating her old college girlfriend. Yep. Turns out lesbian icon Loretta wasn't just a funny roommate story from freshman year. Loretta showed up to help Mom pack and just never left. One minute she was hauling boxes of dusty crystal, next minute she was reorganizing the pantry and asking if anyone wanted vegan chili. They are thriving. Like matching flannel thriving. Mom got bangs. Loretta gardens. They host wine nights. My mom, who used to only wear beige, is now out here in bright lipstick and linen jumpsuits like she's trying out for a Nancy Meyers reboot. She told me, one night while we were sipping tea on the patio. I waited 20 years for the perfect revenge. It was worth every silent dinner. She said it so casually. Like she was talking about switching to oat milk. And it hit me then, how much she'd endured. The holidays, the gaslighting, the quiet knowing. She'd been playing along while secretly building the bomb shelter, just waiting for the right time to detonate the truth. I asked her once why she didn't leave sooner. She looked at me and said, "Because I wanted to win. And I don't like leaving before the last act." Honestly? I get it. I'm still in therapy. I still flinch a little when someone says family is everything. I still get weird around Thanksgiving. But I respect the hell out of her. Not just for the revenge, but for reclaiming her life. For showing me that survival doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like planning. Like patience. Like knowing exactly what game you're playing, and waiting until you've stacked the deck. She didn't burn down the house. She renovated it, then kicked out the rats. Reddit, am I the only one who thinks my mom might be the quietest, coldest, coolest genius on the planet? Because at 58, she finally looks happy. And that, somehow, is the loudest thing of all.